Well, it has been a busy old Monday morning already. We've just obviously got out of the morning. It's just now Monday afternoon when recording this. It's currently 12:37 at time of recording. And it's already been a busy morning for Rangers with announcements, with players making statements, and just this summer shows no sign of letting up. There's stories about Niels Koppen. There's stories about James Tavernier in his house. Obviously, probably spurious rumours nonetheless, but there is a lot of information currently swirling around regarding the club. I just wanted to bring you all the latest updates on what is currently going on at Rangers as regards transfers as we go through this rebuild. As I said on that video before, it's the revolution. It's not the evolution. It's time for revolution. Can you hear the people sing? Yes, we are the people and we are singing. Right, so what's happening? So we're going to talk, obviously, we'll talk Cortes. We'll talk what Ridvan said. You know, there's been some doubts about Ridvan's future given the signing of Hefte, obviously with Fraser emerging. There's a bit of talk about Ridvan, obviously Galdames, obviously, as well as he's been left out of the Kodakoi Cruise team today. It's all go. It's all up in the air and it's all here on the channel, guys. Best way to make sure you miss out on none of it. Hit the sub. It's free. I'm not charging you. Smash it and help us to keep on growing. If you want to find us on social media, check it out on the bottom. Anyway, let's talk it up today. So, big news, obviously, today is the official signing of Oscar Cortes. We know the club have been working on this. We know that the club were working very hard to bring Oscar back to Rangers this coming season. That kit, man, that kit is pure fire. So what do we know? Cortes obviously has signed on a 1-year loan extension, and there is there is different sources on this. Now, according to Rangers, it is an obligation to buy. Now, yet some have said on Lorah's website it is a option to buy. Now, that could be a little bit of lost in translation. People translating French to English, sometimes that can happen. Words are very similar in French, and when you translate them back into English, they can be quite similar in terms of their meaning. So, you know, words like obligation and options can have very similar meanings depending on the tense and the gender. And that's about as much I know about French. I've got A-level French, but never really use it. Anyway, according to Rangers, let's take Rangers as the official source because that is our club, and you know, look, we've got no reason to doubt the club in terms of what they've done as regards this player. So the club announced this morning around about 10:30, Oscar Cortes has rejoined Rangers for a second loan spell from Lorah with the Scottish Premiership club with an option to buy. Obligation to buy, sorry, that is the exact words. That we are delighted to announce Oscar Cortes has signed a 1-year loan deal from French side RC Lens with an obligation to buy in the summer of 2025. What's the difference between an obligation to buy and an option to buy? Well, we use this obligation to buy status in terms of signing Diamonde. We've now used it in terms of signing Cortes. It's a clever way of sort of spreading the payments and getting around the whole PSR, FFP crap that goes on at the moment. And we all know that most clubs pay absolutely zero attention to PSR and FFP, especially the top English clubs. So, look, this is the way it works. What will happen is that transfer fee, probably around 4 million, will be spread over a number of payments, whether that's some this year and then some the following year, obviously 2025, to complete the signing. That looks like what it will be. So the two loan fees will likely be subtracted from the overall transfer fee, giving us a reduced transfer fee to pay next summer. Very clever maths, very clever use of the budget, very clever work from Niels Koppen to make that budget go further. He really is a savvy shopper, isn't he? You know, I'm sure he goes down to Lidl and Aldi and all those other discounters, doesn't he? And other good supermarkets, of course, are available. So look, yes, Cortes has re-signed on this obligation to buy. Look, I'm going to be wholly honest with you, and we'll have what the manager and Koppen and Cortes have said about these transfers shortly. I think this is a great move for the club. This is a fantastic move for the club. And look, guys, it's official. We know it's official. Why do we know it's official? He's got the scarf. He's got the shirt. It's official. When you've got the scarf and the shirt, that's not easy to say together. You know it's official. So, look, this is a great move for the club. Now, I've read a few comments on my breaking news video about people casting doubts on whether this is a good move, about not getting exciting with a player with an injury, etc., etc. Now, let's deal with some realities here. Oscar Cortes is a very talented young Colombian winger, very talented. He's shown in the limited number of games that he's had with Rangers that he can cope in Scottish football. He played very well in the games that he played, in particular, obviously scoring that goal in the 5-0 drubbing of Hearts at Ibrox in what was widely regarded as one of our best performances. We never really hit the heights after that day, did we? Cortes was injured on the 28th of February away at Rugby Park on that god-awful plastic pitch, which we know, as of not this season, but next, will be outlawed in the SPL. Well done, the SFA, on that one. Thank God. My God, I'm praising the SFA, whatever next. So let's talk this through. Now, people say, well, he's got an injury, whatever. The injury wasn't his fault. It's not an injury that is not an injury that, that is going to come back, the injury that's going to be there. It is something that can be worked on, healed, and got better. I think, he's still very young. He's only 20 years old. He's only a very young player. So I think to kind of, talk about, oh, he's another one of those injury-prone players is very unfair to Oscar Cortes. I don't think he is at all one of those injury-prone players. And I think that, he is a very positive acquisition. Yeah, he's only 20 years old. He's not 21 until the 3rd of December. So, a good purchase, a really good buy. Now, he's got 2 goal contributions in his 6 games. He's fast, he's quick, he's direct. He can play on the right wing. He can play on the left wing. He can come in onto his right foot. He can come into his left foot. He's very much a 2-footed player. And again, he's one of these players that very much fits this trading model. £4 million. Give it 2-3 years, 15, 20 million, who knows? You're going to be obviously looking at a big, big profit on Oscar Cortes. So for me, this is a great transfer, and it is one to get excited about. It is a very positive one. Obviously, to add to Hefte, this is giving us incredible attacking potential. It's giving us speed. It's giving us trickiness. It's giving us the ability to go past players, which is something, when you're playing against the low block or a mid block, you need that ability to beat your man, get past him, get to the line, get the ball in the box. And that's something that Hefte is going to bring, Cortes is going to bring. Hopefully, we'll hear Seema signed on a permanent basis soon as well, giving us lots of attacking threat. Now, the director of recruitment, who is Niels Koppen, who apparently, allegedly, is in Mexico, allegedly is going into South America, and is allegedly, and I'm using the word allegedly here, looking at confirming some more deals for some more South American players over the next couple of days. That's what I'm hearing. Whether he is in Mexico, I don't know. He might well be in Glasgow. He might be in Govan. I don't know. He might be in, I don't know, Falkirk. He might have accidentally wandered into Clydebank, poor bloke. I don't know. Anyway, this is what Niels Koppen had to say. He might be in Wishaw with Lorah. You never know. Oscar's Rangers career started brightly, and he showed the technical ability, pace, and goal threat he carries, which are all very true. And look, I trust Koppen. Koppen has a fantastic track record. This is a guy who signed Bakayoko, Sibari, Vim, and Noah Lang. People, these are good footballers that PSV have got. Cortes, I think, is the sort of player that PSV probably would have looked at if Koppen had been there. He was unfortunate to miss the final few months of the campaign, but we believe he can be an important player for the team going forward. He's really loved being at the club, and we feel he will get even better when he is fully fit again, working under the manager and his coaching staff. And I think that's very true. I think he will develop. I think he will improve. I think, give Clement and Van der Heyden and Ray and all the coaches time to work with him, to improve him, to get him better. I think, he's only going to improve. He's 20 years old. Very much, from that age, it is an upward trend. Once you sort of hit 29, 30, it is kind of like a downward trend or a plateauing, which we're seeing with a lot of the 30 pluses in our squad. But, this is a very promising young signing. Now, moving on, this is what the manager and Oscar himself had to say. So the manager says, I'm really pleased to have Oscar coming back. He was a big asset to the squad when he came to the club, and he showed the qualities that attracted him to us, which obviously that ability to go past players, to use both feet. He's quick, direct, exactly what we need. Oscar suffered a setback, but he was worked tirelessly during his recovery, and I am sure all of the fans looking forward to seeing him again next season. He's certainly a player who will get bums off seats, who will excite, and hopefully, like we've all said, let's hope he hasn't got the same temperament as our previous Colombian. Oscar obviously cuts the right tone with his words. He says, it was an honor and a privilege for me to join the club in January, and I enjoyed my football under the manager and playing alongside my teammates. So it's clear that he likes being here. He likes being a Rangers player. He likes working with Phil Clement. That's all very good and positive. Sadly, the injury ended my season early, but I have been working hard, and I'm excited to help the team and play in front of the wonderful fans again soon. So it's quite clear that Oscar is very excited to be back. He wants to be here. He wants to be a Rangers player. And that, for me, is part of the battle. That's what we need. We don't want these players that are only coming for the paycheck. We want these players who actually want to play for our club, who want to actually fight for this badge and fight for this jersey. And Oscar, to me, seems that sort of player. So welcome, Oscar Cortes. You are now official. You are now obviously alone, but it looks like, obviously, with the obligation to buy, you are very similar to Mo Diamande. You will be a Rangers player long term. So I think that's absolutely superb news today. Great news, obviously. So that means 2 through the door for definite now. Oscar Cortes and Hefte. Right, let's move it along. So there was some rumours and reports regarding Ridvan, obviously, in January, him attracting interest from Gala, who apparently has no interest in joining, Fenerbahce, Besiktas again. You know, there's talk of him going back to Turkey. Now, he's not in the Euro squad, so obviously that's going to not particularly increase his value over the next few months. I think some people were thinking, had he got into the Turkish squad, had he played well at the Euros, it would have inflated his value even further, may have got some big bids for him. So, with the arrival of Hefte, obviously with the emergence of Robbie Fraser, the link to Thomas Galdames, who is, as well as being a left side centre back, is also primarily a left back. There is talk, and we'll get on to Galdames. There is some more news about him. A lot of talk was that Ridvan, could be moved on, and Ridvan may be looking to move on, that Ridvan may be looking to leave, and so on and so forth. Now, I love Ridvan, don't get me wrong. Ridvandinho, Ridvanaldo, whatever you want to call him. He is a good player. And I think when he wasn't in the squad this year and he wasn't in the first team, we missed him. He gives that natural width to the left. He is very attacking, but he can also do something that Borna Barisic couldn't do very well, which is defend. He has got a better defensive set of skills than the other fullbacks at the club. He can tackle, he blocks crosses, he works back and forward. He links exceptionally well with Oscar Cortes when he did have a chance to play with him. He linked well with Silva as well when Silva was at the club, although he is now obviously gone back to Wolves, never to return. So look, Ridvan for me is a good player. Now, the one cloud that overhangs Ridvan is his injury record. His injury record is pretty poor. He does seem to get injured and then take a long time to come back from injuries. Hence, we've gone down the Hefte route. We've got Fraser, hopefully, as well. So that, long term, we're not doing what we were doing last season when we're going, oh, crap, where's our left back? Where's our left-footed left back? We now have 3 of them that can play there. Hefte, Ridvan, and Fraser, giving us natural balance. Dujon Sterling is fantastic, don't get me wrong, and can play left back. But he's naturally right-footed, which means he naturally comes inside, which naturally, when you've got a right-footed left winger as well, narrows the pitch, which against the lower mid-block is not a good thing. So having these 3 left-footed left backs is very positive, and Ridvan being here is positive. Now, Ridvan has been talking about his future and updating on whole future of his time at Rangers, and this is what he had to say when he spoke to the media. He said, I am happy at Rangers right now, and there is no thought about any future transfer for me. That straight out of Ridvan's mouth. That is straight from the player himself. It is not from his agent. It is not from sources. It's not from Football Insider, which is like the Beano. It's not from any of the podcast sites. It is purely from Mr. Ridvan Yilmaz himself. He says he is happy at Rangers, and there is no thought, e.g., he's obviously talked to the manager. He's obviously talked to Koppen. He's obviously talked to his agent, which he will be doing on a regular basis over the months leading to this point. And there is no talk of any transfer for him. So it does look like Ridvan is staying put, and Ridvan will still be a Rangers player next season, which I think is great news. Fantastic news. Look, there's players we need to get rid of. 100%. We've got rid of 5 of them already. There's Goldson, there's Tav, there's Scott Wright. Those sorts of players need to be gone. Got to go. Got to get rid of them. My fear is if those 3 are still here next season, we are going to be in a bad position because they've got that mentality, that loser mentality, that bottle mentality, and we don't need that going through to the new signings. But players like Ridvan, like Jack Butland, like Dujon Sterling, like Danilo to some extent, Seema, if we can re-sign him. These are the types of players we need to be keeping at the club. These top talents that, that are only going to get better, that are only going to develop and are only going to actually be worth more money further down the line. Get a full season of Ridvan next year. That's that 4 or 5 million that people are talking about could easily be 10. Jack Butland, full season of Jack Butland, win some trophies. That 12 to 15 that's been rumored in the press goes to 20 million quite easily. Danilo, 6 million sign. He scores 25 goals next season. That 6 goes to about 15 to 20 million. Again, you're accumulating funds, which we can then reinvest into the playing squad and build this squad for the future. It is a good plan the club have. And Niels Koppen, like I said, who allegedly is in South America. I don't know. He could be in Govan. I'll ring Lorah in a bit and find out if he's in Wishaw. So I don't know where he is. But it looks like a plan. It looks like a plan is coming together. To quote the A-team, I love it when a plan comes together. Absolutely. Hopefully, we haven't got Howling Mad Murdoch in charge. We have got what was he called again? Hannibal, wasn't it? Hannibal, that was his name. Hopefully Hannibal's in charge. Niels Koppen is our Hannibal. Right, let's move it along a little bit further, talk about another story. Now, one of the players that was essentially linked with the club was Thomas Galdames, who is a Chilean defender. He is left-footed. Again, he says he favours playing on the left side of defence. He has played the majority of his career as a left. Interesting. He has been given the authority to actually, what was I talking about again? Oh, Galdames. He has talked about the fact he needs to play. I got distracted by an update on Twitter. I do apologise, guys. It was a bit of an update. Apparently, something to do with competing in European competitions, apparently, with the two Manchester clubs. Boring. Anyway, let's get back to Rangers. So Galdames is a player who, has said that he likes to play on the left side of defence. He is primarily a left back, but would like to play as a left-sided centre back. Now, I've seen some people talking about his height, talking about him in terms of, his size. Look, I understand, that obviously is one thing. You do need dominant centre halves in Scotland. The guy is 1.83 meters tall, which is just over 6 foot. Okay, so 1.83 meters, that's according to Transfer Market, who are, exceptionally reliable in terms of, that's 6 foot, basically about 6 foot, bang on 6 foot, 1. Okay, so he is over 6 foot. So he's not a midget. He's not a tiny player. He's not going to, he's not going to be too small centre half. He is naturally left-footed. He does bring balance, and we've seen, I think, at the end of the season when Ben Davies was playing there, that having that left-sided balance, having a left footer on the left side, or even better, two left footers on the left side, does bring natural balance to your team. So, it is interesting as well that he has today been left out of the Cortes Ridvan team, which has further sparked rumours. He's not unfit. He's not injured. He's not got any personal issues. It kind of has really sparked that interest that he possibly could be looking at a transfer, negotiating with European clubs, because this is the point now where European clubs are starting to up the ante ahead of the transfer window opening in terms of securing those players, ready to officially unveil those players and register them once the transfer window is open. Now, he looks a good player. He looks a solid talent. I'm not saying this is a done deal by any stretch of the imagination, and it could very well be 2 and 2 together and getting 6 as regards this report about him. About him, moving on, about him becoming a player for another club. There might be no interest from Rangers, but it just seems that this is a story that won't go away, a story that just keeps on repeating itself in terms of that. So look, we know at the end of the day that this would be a player we're interested in. We are looking at the South American market. We do want a left-sided centre-back. So this could well be a very true story. I don't know for a fact. I'm just reporting what I've read. I think it will be a good move. I think the more players we get in, the more new blood we bring in, the more new, young, energetic players we bring to this club, the more attacking talent, the more positivity. It does a lot. It changes the mindset. And that for me is massive. We do need a massive change of mindset. I honestly think that is the case. Galdames apparently has also said that he wants to be sold, that he wants to move on. He has issued that comment to his club called the Cortes. So look, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what's going to happen? But look, let's keep our eyes open, our ears to the ground, and hopefully something will start to move in the next few days as regards Galdames. Look, you know what? I absolutely love this period of time. It's silly season, isn't it? It is crazy season, and some of the stuff you read and some of the stuff you hear and some of the stuff you see, you're just like, for goodness sake, Jesus, it's called reading too much into it. I mean, obviously, the first place people look is social media. Have they removed clubs from their social media? Have they removed references to the club they play for from their social media? And that's the first one. Obviously, that's straight away that happens. Oh, so and so's removed. No, okay, yes, whatever. The other one, obviously, is the houses. Now, someone the other day told me that Tav's house is up for sale. Don't know how true that is. Guys, if you know anything, you know where Tav lives, go and check it out. Don't knock on his door, obviously, because don't harass the man. But, if his house is up for sale, hey, that could be anything. He could just be moving to a bigger house in Glasgow. Or it could be moving out into one of the villages or one of the towns around Glasgow. I don't know. You know, it could be anything. But I mean, it's ridiculous. It really is absolutely ludicrous. Well, guys, that's what we have at the moment. It's crazy. Absolutely breathless. Absolutely crazy. I feel like I'm turning into Jim White without the Scottish accent. Thanks for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. As always, please sub to the channel. Help us to keep on growing as we head towards 6,000 subscribers. And on the way out, you know the story. Smash that like and remember always, other people.